Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Match day -1, Eddie Howe's press conference to get into, a good preview of the Fulham game, including my prediction. Make sure you drop yours in the comments below. But let's start with the title of the video, which is the Adidas Arena. St James's Park rebrand? I don't know about that. There's lots of rumours flying about on social media after this photo was leaked on Twitter yesterday. That is official. The East Stand is getting a makeover. As you can see there, some of the seats in the centre of the East Stand have been replaced by those nice bright white Adidas seats with the black outline. I am a big fan of that, and it is well overdue. This should be in effect around the whole stadium for me. It shouldn't just be the East Stand that has different seats with different lettering on it or different logos, as you can see there. With the Adidas one, we should have it in the leader stand as well. We should have it in the Gallagher end. We could mix things up. You listen, this comes to me, obviously at Old Trafford, they had the Adidas badge there. I remember that when I was at Old Trafford a few months ago. They obviously have, is it Stretford end, whatever it is, like lettering. We need that. Gallagher, just in massive letters. You know what I mean? Something like that, like a tribute to something, or even just one of the old logos, you know? Like this one on one of the seats, or the current one, whatever. I think this should be utilised a lot more, with a bit more personalisation and customisation around the stadium. But that Adidas sign on the East Stand has led to people feeling speculation that, oh, this is a sponsor incoming, this is what this means, you know, it's going to be the Adidas Arena, or is it now going to be the Adidas Stand, or the Three Stripes Stadium, you know, whatever you want to try and wing it as. That's what people are saying. I don't think that's the case. You can't rule it out. Most definitely in the near future, there will be a sponsorship at St James's Park. Even Amanda Staveley, when she was here at the club as one of the directors, talked about, you know, the fans might have to be ready for a stadium name change, or at least an added on extra to it. So St James's Park by Aramco, or whatever, you know, sell at St James's Park, like the Stack. You know, things like that are going to happen because of FFP, because it's a way of getting around that and increasing your financial gains, getting the revenue up there. With a stadium sponsor, you could charge another 30 million a year for that. Great. Might actually be able to sign some more players. You know what I mean? That's what you want, that's what you need. So it is inevitable that comes, that we will have a stadium name sponsor, or perhaps an entire change. At least we know it's not going to be the Sports Direct Arena ever again. And even he did, Mike Ashley, he did the old St James's Park, Sports Direct at St James's Park, didn't he? And people still take the piss out of us for that, and obviously he plastered Sports Direct absolutely everywhere he could. So we're not going to get back to those dark days, at least. But with this one, I don't think it'll be Adidas. I just think this is Adidas. Look, we'll sponsor you, we'll pay you a lot of money a year. We're obviously on the kits, but we want to be in the stadium as well. I'm surprised we still don't, well, we might do by the time the Man City game comes around, and we'll get a leaked image of the Gallagher, because Castor and Puma had their logos, their badges above the Gallagher on the stand there across the top, and we haven't seen that from Adidas yet. So I'm surprised it's taken this long. To be fair, there's a few things that's happening now which is a bit strange, you know, like I did a video the other week on a few changes around St James's Park. Check it out if you haven't already, where they've got Gallagher stand now outside. They've changed that. They've obviously updated the signs on the Milburn stand there next to the glass staircase. So these things, you'd think, you know, we had all summer to do this when the Euros was on and that. I thought things like this would be ready for the start of the season. Not a nitpick, just an observation. Just thinking, well, when Adidas were coming in, why didn't they just whack the seats on straight? I don't know. But yeah, there's the new Adidas seats on the East Stand. Like I say, people are saying, could this be a name change? Could this be Adidas taking over even more? I don't think so. I don't think so. We've seen it at where Adidas sponsor other clubs. I think Stamford Bridge might even have it as well when they were sponsored by Adidas. There now with Nike, might have a Nike tick there. I see a lot of clubs doing it. I don't think it's indicating towards a stadium name change. But if it was Adidas Arena and they wanted to give a shit ton more money, brilliant. Thanks very much. I'd take it. But I think it's good. It's a nice update. I'm a fan of it. Let us know what you think. Do you like it? Did you prefer it the old way? I mean, there's a lot of calls in the past, and we've talked about in videos before, why don't we have the full stadium as black and white seats? You know, instead of the grey ones. I think that could be a nice touch as well, a nice upgrade. We could have had that, you know, just the stripes, black and white stripes in the seats. I think that would look quality, like we've seen before with flag displays for more flags. But there is the Adidas signs, and the East Stand at St James's Park gets another little makeover. Alrighty then, let's touch on Eddie Howe's press conference. That was live just an hour ago. We're going to talk about what he said. Mainly, I'm going to brush over a few things. You know, I can't believe I'm bored of it now, right? I'm sure you all are. That people are still asking about his relationship with Paul Mitchell. This is more dramatic than bloody Tommy Fury and Molly May's relationship, than Space and Bex. You know what I mean? Golden bars. I don't know what's going on, why this is becoming such a thing now. Just get over it. It's not even a transferring anymore. I feel sorry for Eddie having to continuously answer stupid questions that are getting asked. It's just boring now. Let's just focus on the football. That's what a lot of the press conference thankfully was, but unfortunately it was tailored towards injury news, and Eddie Howe confirmed that Isak does have a toe injury, as I did a video on that yesterday, which was reported by the Mail. He's confirmed that. He said he's going to have a look at him today, and they're hopeful that he might be included, but he is obviously still a major doubt for Fulham tomorrow. I think Isak might be alright. I'm not sure if he'll start, but I think he'll be in the squad. I think he'll at least be on the bench, hopefully, for Fulham. Gordon will probably deputise down the middle. Eddie Howe was asked about him playing down there. He says he's fine with that. Obviously, we know he's done it with England before and whatnot. He says he's absolutely sound with that. He knows what the role is. And he also talked about, well, what about Usula? What about William Usula? You know, the young striker you signed as backup for Isak Wilson. Where's he at? He said he's coming along nicely, he's progressing well. They're impressed with him behind the scenes, even though he hasn't played any minutes yet competitively for Newcastle United. Surely we'll see that in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday. We might see it tomorrow, maybe off the bench. He's not going to start, but we'll see. It's a chance. I'm interested to see what Asula's got, you know what I mean? So he's our second choice now, because there's no point in even talking with Wilson. He was asked about Callum Wilson in the press conference, and he said he's still at least 1 month away. Wilson's still injured for another month. I said it yesterday. To be fair, I said he's not going to be back until the next international break, which is what Eddie Howe confirmed today. So he's not going to be back until the end of October. It's an absolute shit show, that, like, Callum Wilson. Honestly, man. Back injuries, hamstring injuries, every injury under the sun for Callum Wilson. Contract runs out next year. Surely that's it. But Eddie Howe was asked a lot as well about other contracts, you know, specifically Sean Longstaff, who is in the last several months of his deal. And he says, you know, he bigged up Longstaff. He said he was vital in the team's performances to get towards Champions League, that we did, to get towards that cup final. And you've got to agree with that. Listen, I've criticised Sean Longstaff before. Quite rightly, I stick by it. Sometimes he's just technically not good enough. We can't question his desire, his heart, his attitude, the ground he covers. But sometimes he's lacking. So, you know, and a lot of people are calling for Sandro to come back in, but... And Eddie Howe did say he was ready. He said Willock was ready to start if need be. And there's no... You can't argue that them two aren't better players. You just can't for me. I like Longstaff. I'd give Longstaff a new deal if he's happy to be a squad player. But he can't be starting week in, week out for me. But I don't mind him. Listen, great stuff that he's a local lad in the team. Fantastic. But when you got Sandro, Italian stallion, you know, Italian international doing bits, like, it's not even close. And I love Joe Willock as well. But we all know what his injury record is like, praying he can stay fit for a bit longer this time round. And Eddie Howe did also have high praise for Harvey Barnes after his scream out last week. He said he's one of the best wingers, the best finishers he's ever seen. So surely he's going to start. Well, he will now, since Isak's injured. Barnes, Gordon, probably Murphy. So there you have it. We'll wait and see. For Fulham tomorrow, let's talk about it then. Talked about it briefly yesterday. Eddie Howe was also asked this in the press conference about the potential of going top of the league. If Newcastle United beat Fulham tomorrow, we will be top for at least a day, because then Man City v Arsenal kicks off Sunday afternoon. So depending on what happens in that game, we might still be top, but we'll be first in the league for at least a day if we win at Craven Cottage, which would be absolutely lovely. Listen, it looks good on paper. It's good mentally for the players. It's good motivation. Eddie Howe was getting asked, way too early for this, by the way. Remember, we are still in September. Also, how far behind do you think you are of Man City and Arsenal? How can you push on to be first? Do you think we can get there? And, you know, he was laughing off a little bit, saying the usual, take it game by game. But also, that is the ambition of the club. That's where we want to be. We do want to be first, so we are going to try and get there, which is exactly what you want to hear. And we have a great chance of doing that on Saturday. Listen, Fulham, we have got a very good record there, Craven Cottage. We really do. We like going down there. We like putting a few goals past them. And I think we'll do that again. I'm hoping, obviously, we're clicking to gear a bit more in this game than we have so far in the 4 league games and the one in the Cup away to Forest. Looking for 5 games unbeaten now, if we do manage to get through Fulham. I've got to say, I think I fancy a 2-1. I fancy a 2-1 or a 3-1 to Newcastle United. And that will be tremendous if we could do that, because let's remember, we've obviously got Man City next week. So that's a big ask, a big test. So if we can get some points on the board now before that, stay unbeaten, be up there, and then who knows, like obviously take a draw against City at home, no doubt about it, with all their talent. So, listen, Fulham tomorrow, big chance to go top of the league, which is mental. Absolutely love how they act. And it's a good opponent for us and a good away day in recent memory. It's also worth noting that Fulham have played this week, while Newcastle have obviously had a rest. We have our cup game on Tuesday night against Wimbledon. Fulham played Preston North End the other night in a mental record-breaking penalty shootout that they lost 16-15. So Preston got one over them in that obviously crazy penalty shootout. So they're off the back of that. They're off the back of a couple of draws as well. They have drew with Ipswich away 1-1, and then at home to West Ham 1-1 after losing away to Man U on the opening night of the season, and a 2-1 home win over Leicester City. So it's about what you'd expect for Fulham. You know they're a mid-table side. I tell you what, they did some good business over the summer. I do like the signing of Emile Smith-Rowe. I think he's a quality player. You know, really highly rated when he was at Arsenal. Just he suffered a lot with injuries as well. So if they can stay fit, he's going to be a threat. You know, they've got some good players. I like Marco Silva, decent manager. So it's not going to be a pushover. But if Newcastle have the aspirations that Eddie Howe talked about this morning, not necessarily, you know, getting at number one, that's a while off, we know that. Let's not be too daft, eh? But, you know, top 4, top 6, Fulham away is one of them games you probably should be getting 3 points. So let's hope so. Drop your thoughts and score predictions in the comments below. I'll be live for a match reaction at full time against Fulham, so stay locked in for that one. Have a great weekend, people. Let's hope we're celebrating going top of the league. See you in the next one.